Welcome to the Sacred Womb podcast with me, Melanie Swan. A space for women who want to heal at the root, reclaim the wisdom of the womb, and live as cyclical, sovereign women, sourced from within, rooted in love. Michelle, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the podcast. So,
thank you.
You have healed endometriosis, amenorrhea, 50 other different symptoms. So, hats off to you. That's not an easy thing to do.
Thank you.
And you got pregnant naturally, and you've got a lovely, healthy, thriving baby.
Yeah, little baby girl.
What's her name?
Trudy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I've invited you on the podcast basically today because I know roughly the path that you took to heal, and not only to heal, but to restore your womb center, get pregnant, have a healthy pregnancy, feel great. And frankly, I know the sort of conflicting advice that is in the general public, both in the allopathic world, traditional medicine, and also in the alternative medicine world and holistic health.
Yeah.
It's frankly mostly a pile of nonsense. And women come to me, because they can't get pregnant, and it is sometimes emotional stuff, and we dig deep. But at the end of the day, if there isn't really, really good information about nutritional support, then it's two things working against the other, and it's really freaking hard. And I'm fed up of it. And the information is actually public, so it's just not in the mainstream. So I want you to tell me all about your story, how you healed, your challenges, what was easy as well, and how you help women now to just dispel these, frankly, just bizarre myths about fertility and nutrition and how to actually heal and get pregnant. And you're a living embodiment of that. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here. And let's go for it.
I'm happy to be here.
Okay.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll start. I'll just walk you through my story, because I had a bit of a unique combination of issues. So I had endometriosis and amenorrhea, and my reproductive conditions basically started very early. Like when all my friends were getting their periods at age 13, 14, 15, mine just never came. And it wasn't until I was 20 that I got my first period. And that's very concerning as a teenager. And I almost felt ashamed of it. And I would just lie to my friends, oh yeah, I got my period. I had no idea even how a pad worked or anything, because I never got one, right? And then from the age of 20 to 30, I only had 5 natural periods. So on average, 1 every 2 years. And sometimes it was like 1 every 3 years, and then I have like 1 year kind of thing. So it was very infrequent. But the periods that I did get because of the endometriosis were excruciating, the most terrible things I've ever experienced. And I'm sure there's women that are in a similar boat that are listening. But so I'll walk you through what it was like for me. So the first day, excruciatingly painful cramps, so painful that I felt like I had to get through them second by second, like so I could keep my sanity. You're just like, okay, just 1 second's over and keep going. And so this would be like 3 to 6 hours of this level of pain, 10 out of 10, worse than my experience of childbirth. And then I would lose control over my bowels almost because of the endometrial tissue there. And so I would have to be bathroom ridden for like 3 to 6 hours on the toilet, and also uncontrollable urges to pee, very heavy bleeding. Then nausea because of the pain. And then actually almost every time I'd have to make myself like a little bed on the floor with a towel because I was too afraid to leave the bathroom.
Oh my God.
Just because it was just so bad. And then each progressive period I got, even though it was so few, were just worse and worse. And then it got to the point where when I had like the bowel problems were starting to happen outside of periods a little bit, just some pain and discomfort there. It was pretty bad. On top of that, I was dealing with hypothyroid, chronic excruciating stomach pains, chronic fatigue syndrome, low iron, circulation issues. And I made a list at one point. It was like 50 plus symptoms and conditions that were just chronically plaguing me. And they were just progressively getting worse. So by the time I was 30, I got pregnant. Or sorry, I didn't get pregnant. I got married. I wish I got pregnant.
No difference, really. Yeah.
Yeah. I got married and we wanted to start a family right away. And I knew, of course, it was going to be a challenge. So I looked and I found I had already been seeing lots of different doctors and lots of naturopaths and homeopaths and all these things. Nothing was helping me. But I searched and I found this naturopath in my area that specializes in women's hormones. And I thought, okay, this is going to help me. I'm really excited. I'm going to fix this. So I went to see her and she suggested maybe you have hypothalamic amenorrhea, which means basically that you probably aren't taking in enough energy to maintain a cycle. And it didn't really ring true to me because I was eating, like, I wasn't a big exerciser or anything too crazy. Like, I didn't fit the typical bill of that kind of person. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a try because I'm willing to try anything at this point. Like, I need to get some relief. I need to figure this out. I want to have a family. So I went all in on the 2,500 calorie a day, high protein, high fat diet for 2 years religiously. And I even booked a call with the woman who wrote a book on it. And she helped me to like figure out how to do it and all this stuff. Like I joined HA groups and I was all in on this. And I had a calorie tracking app and I was doing it all. So during that time, Melanie, my health went from bad to just terrible. So my thyroid was so inflamed. It went from just hypothyroid to being so inflamed that I felt like I was being choked at all times. I could actually see it a little bit. My chronic fatigue was through the roof. And I was, you know how like they tell you that green tea is good for you. So I was like, okay, so green tea was helping me get through my day. So I was actually up to 12 green teas a day just to get through it. Like I was running my own business at the time. I still had to live my life, right? And so I was doing that. It was getting to the point where all my issues are starting to get neurological. So restless legs, like, I don't know if you've ever experienced it, but I couldn't get to sleep. I could barely get through a movie. It's more than restless legs. Like, you just have to move your legs all the time. It's very uncomfortable. Headaches. And then to top it all off, I gained 45 pounds in those 2 years. And I look in the mirror and I just felt so disconnected, and with my body, and I didn't like the way I looked. And I was to the point I was weighing myself. It was 5 pounds a month that I was gaining. And I was just beside myself. I think I did get one period during that time span, but it was the worst period of all of the periods I've ever had. And it wasn't like anything was becoming regular for me or anything like that. So that's how bad it got. But anyways, so eventually I was like, okay, well, this naturopath, this whole path is not working for me. I had to throw in the towel. I gave it my best try. So I found a family member suggested another naturopath. And he tipped me off, said, hey, maybe like toxins or something have something to do with all the things you're experiencing. And I never heard that before. So as soon as I left that appointment, I went and I searched on podcasts. And the first podcast I come across was the Medical Medium podcast. And that was a spiritual experience and a turning point for my life, because I up until that point, I had actually been like very health focused. And this is why I was so confused. So like, I'm a chef, and I transitioned out of being like a traditional chef into running health food restaurants. Then I opened my own plant-based restaurant and all this. And I had gone to health conferences, all these things, and just nothing ever really aligned and made sense for me. But when I found that Medical Medium podcast, everything he was saying, I was just like, yes, this finally something makes sense. And so then I got obsessed. I got all his books. I studied them like just nonstop. And then I hopped in. And so I started with, the lemon water, the celery juice, heavy metal, detox smoothie, all that stuff. And within 4 months, I got a period. And then 3 months later, I got my second period, and then 2 months later I got another period, and it just kept getting closer and closer together, which I had never even had 2 consecutive periods in my entire life. So this was like mind blowing to me. I actually recorded all the symptoms I was experiencing before I started, and then they just started knocking off one by one, and I just couldn't believe it. And like the chronic fatigue was waning. It was amazing. And so by 10 months, all of my period symptoms, like all the endometriosis symptoms, were completely gone. I had a completely painless, it was like a 3.5, 4-day period. And my mind was absolutely blown because I didn't even believe women when they said that they didn't have painful periods. Like, it just didn't make sense to me because I never experienced it. So I just kept going, and exactly 1 year to the date of finding that Medical Medium podcast, I found out that I was pregnant, and it was the most amazing, it was just the most amazing news. And it just confirmed that when I trusted my gut that this was the right information, it actually was. And I just look at my baby girl and like, wow, this is such a miracle that this information found me. And I'm so thankful for Medical Medium. And now all I want to do is tell women, because like they need to know. They need to know.
They need to know.
Yeah.
So was there any point? Obviously, you started and things started getting better. Was there any like die off or flare ups or moments where you thought, "Oh God, this feels worse today"?
Yeah. So, one thing that I had always experienced was these out of the blue, excruciating stomach pains. And there was definitely kind of in the beginning a push through phase I found with those, because the celery juice would always trigger those stomach pains for me. So I just kind of said, I'm just going to keep going through it. And so it took a good couple of months of discomfort with celery juice, plus going to the bathroom a lot. Also, the periods, it's not like it was a linear projection of this one was better than this one and so on. It was like the first one I had was pretty horrendous too. And then I noticed the bleeding got a lot heavier before I saw any real healing. And I've talked to other women who've healed endometriosis, and it goes like that. Your uterus has to shed all that extra tissue and all that stuff. So you're going to notice more bleeding and more clots in the healing process. And so you don't need to be too scared of that. From my experience and the women I've talked to. So I would just tell people it's not a linear path. You're going to notice days where you have fatigue, days where you'll have flare-ups of symptoms you've already had. You typically don't have new things pop up. It's usually things that you've already experienced. They're going to keep coming up again and again.
But it's good to know that obviously I've drank a lot of celery juice myself, and it's not always that pleasant. No. I mean, definitely stay near a bathroom for the first couple of months. I mean, sometimes I felt a bit nauseous as well, and a bit like sometimes I don't want to drink it and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I think it's really helpful for women to know the clots are going to come out, and they're going to have periods where the toxins do come out, and it can be really scary. Yeah. So it's really good for women to know that that's going to happen, and that it's not just like, oh, day one and then it starts.
Totally.
So, okay. So your period started getting more regular. There was kind of stuff coming out. Celery juice a bit uncomfortable at times, I guess. And then any other kind of discomforts, I guess I'm asking, so that women know what to expect, and that it's not that it's not working. It's just bringing everything up and out.
The biggest one is just you just have to go to the bathroom a lot. I mean, this is one thing. Like, how else are you going to detox all the stuff, right? Like, you have to poop it out. You know, it just is the way it is. You know, I experienced a lot of diarrhea in the beginning, and even sometimes, like every now and then, now it happens, but very rarely. But I think you just get. You're always working through. I'm still working through little things coming out of my liver or out of my colon or whatever that might be there. And so you just have to be prepared to go to the bathroom, and maybe that means getting up earlier or whatever. But it will happen.
Yeah. Okay. And obviously with Medical Medium, there's several books and there's several different cleanses and protocols and suggestions. Which ones did you do that you found most effective at different times, or did you just stick to one?
Yeah, so I started with the morning cleanse. So that's you start with lemon water, and then you do celery juice, and then the heavy metal detox smoothie. And I was really religious with doing that the whole way through. I feel like that's really, really powerful. And I did do some 369 cleanses during that time. So that's a 9-day liver flush that's in Cleanse to Heal. He describes that. So I did some of that, but I probably did 2 or 3 of those during that 1-year period. But other than that, reducing the pathogen-feeding foods was huge. So that's eggs, gluten, dairy, corn, and soy. Those are the big ones. So I got rid of those. And the one that really made my chronic fatigue go down way quicker than I thought was possible was just lowering your fats. That's a huge one. And so I started off like no fats until noon, but then I worked up to no fats till dinner. So I was doing no fats till about 6 o'clock most days. And then I would try and just do little cluster days, like a day here, a day there of just no fat. And then those cleanses would be 9 days no fat. So lowering the fats is huge. You feel so much lighter. Your brain works better. And it gives your body the ability to cleanse out what's burdening it.
And I'd love to know how you're still alive without chomping down 30 grams of protein at each meal. How, Michelle?
Yeah, it's crazy, the mind shift, because during those 2 years, I was so protein focused. I was like, I got to get those 30 grams first thing and so on. And now I almost avoid it, to be honest. Like, I'm not, heavy protein foods are just so hard on your digestive system and your liver. They thicken your blood. They make it so the conditions are better for pathogens to thrive in your body. And honestly, you get to a point where I just crave clean glucose now. Like we went on a holiday and I couldn't have my heavy metal detox smoothie for a couple of weeks. And that was the first thing I wanted when I came back. And you just crave that stuff because you get that instant feedback of how good it feels and how much better you feel. And I just challenge anyone to lower those proteins and fats and just see how you feel, because you might have a hump to get over first, of course, but honestly, it makes a huge difference. And I'm just thriving. I'm thriving more than I ever have in my whole life. Even when I was a kid, I feel better than that. So the protein, it just isn't the answer that everyone thinks it is.
Yeah, and I love that heavy metal detox smoothie as well. If I've been anywhere and haven't had it, I get off the plane, I'm like, I'm gathering coriander and and I drink it. And I tell you what, that first heavy metal detox poo is just lovely.
I love that we can talk about this. This is great.
I go back on the morning cleanse, and that combination of lemon water in the morning, I put a bit of honey in, wait a bit, celery juice, and then I feel and then that heavy metal detox smoothie half an hour later, I'm just like, I am just going to sit in my apartment until boom, and I feel so good because it takes everything out. It's awesome.
It does. It does.
Okay. So really, I thought, in my imagination, really, I thought you'd probably done back-to-back 9-day cleanses or something like that. But this is really not extreme at all. You'd done the morning cleanse. You'd taken the eggs out, which most women are eating eggs for breakfast and avocado for breakfast, and told that, and it's complete nonsense. And so you took all those out and just ate clean.
So for me, I relied heavily on smoothies. That worked really well for me. So I basically do an hour and a half or so of morning prep every morning. So I do my normal morning routine, and then I would always prep like a spinach smoothie, a berry banana smoothie, and maybe another banana smoothie or an applesauce, raw applesauce or something. And that would get me through the day till I got home. And it actually worked great for work because I'm a chef, so I'm on my feet and all that. And I could just sip all day. I didn't have to stop for a break or do anything. I could just keep going. So that worked well for me. So, but like, it may sound extreme to some people, but it's amazing just how well it works and how you actually feel pretty full. And the other thing I wanted to say is, a lot of us are starting out really glucose deficient. So you're going to feel way more hungry when you're eating this way at the beginning, because your body is just like, you're glucose loading. Like, you got to just fill everything, all your stores up again. You don't need to be afraid of eating a lot of fruit. There seems to be a lot of fruit fear out there. I see like about too much glucose making you gain weight and all this, but I actually lost 45 pounds eating this way at probably a very high calorie fruit-based diet. I didn't track my calories, but so yeah, you just keep your glucose loading. It's doing the body good. And when you're hungry, just keep eating, like just keep going. Don't fear that fruit.
Awesome. Okay. So what do you think is basically wrong or off track with the fertility advice most women are being given?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot, but I think, to start, I would say most conventional fertility experts don't understand the root cause of infertility. So it's a huge thing. So what happens is you go to the doctor or whatever, and you're just kind of treated like a guinea pig. It's all guessing games. They're just like, okay, maybe try this diet, try this supplement. Maybe we'll put you on birth control to manage the symptom. Maybe we'll do this. And then if this doesn't work, you can go to the next step. And then I just find you just keep doing endless testing. We're doing endless testing. You're just being put around to different specialists, but you're not getting any real answers. And if you're lucky, you'll get a diagnosis. Endometriosis, whatever. And you think at first like, oh, okay, an answer for why I'm struggling. But then if you dig any deeper, they don't know what's causing that, what it is. And then I just realized that's just a label for a group of symptoms. It's not actually telling me what is happening in my body. And so you end up going through all of these guinea pig rounds with doctors and professionals, and they say they're going to work, and then they don't work on you, and then you feel like you're broken, and you feel like you're the one case that can't be fixed. And I've talked to lots of women now struggling with infertility, and Melanie, it's heartbreaking because doctors will put them through all these things, and then nothing changes, and they say, well, you just can't get pregnant. And women will come to me and say, my doctor says I can't get pregnant, or I have to do this surgery, or you name it. And like, a doctor has no right to tell you that. We need to take our power back from these doctors, and we need to find out how to heal.
Absolutely. Yeah. So awesome. So if you're listening to this, you're struggling, infertility, endometriosis, adenometriosis, amenorrhea, that's absent periods, PCOS, fibroids, anything. I mean, you just got to make some changes, and they do work. You got to. It's like we really have to shut that noise out of the protein movement, and that's all it is. It's a movement. It's not truth. Get off all these things that feed the pathogens that are, maintaining the condition, and it's the heavy metals as well, isn't it? That you got to get them out.
Yeah. Yeah. One other thing I notice a lot of women with infertility are struggling with, and this was a big one for me, is the adrenal connection. So we don't realize how much we're all hyped up on adrenaline all the time now. So there's the obvious stuff. We're in the quickening. It's a more stressful environment. Women are doing way more things than we used to, but also it's the things we're doing, like the caffeine coffee culture for women right now is huge. Like I log into TikTok or Instagram. It's always this, really nice looking lady, and she's mixing her coffee. This is my morning thing. And everyone's on coffee. And if it's not coffee, it's chocolate, it's matcha, it's green tea, whatever. So we're all on some level of caffeine. So that's just spiking your adrenals. And people don't realize that your adrenals are the source of a lot of your sex hormones. So how many people are dealing with hormonal issues now. It's huge. It's anytime I make a post about hormones, that's the one that goes, because everyone is dealing with some kind of hormonal imbalance. And it's because our adrenals are just constantly being poked and prodded to the point where they weaken, and they're either overproducing or underproducing for us. But besides the coffee, it's also the high fat diets, because high fat also spikes your adrenals, because your adrenals, your blood gets thick every time you have a high fat, high protein meal. And so your adrenals have to kick in to thin your blood so that your heart can still pump in a healthy way. So we don't realize, so there's a bunch of things like this that we're all doing all the time, and we don't realize, and there's all the fads too, like cold plunging, like very intense breath work. All the health trends are pretty much just adrenal trends, and that's just making our hormones, it's really struggling. It's making our hormones really struggle to maintain a balance because of our adrenals. So I think that's one thing I tell women, like, we got to start resetting how we're thinking about what we eat, even just based on an adrenal level.
Okay. So did you make any lifestyle changes? Did you discover you were kind of running on adrenaline a bit, and did you have to make some adjustments?
I did do some things. I didn't do as much as I should have, because I was still running. I own a plant-based restaurant, so it just takes what it takes to run a business. And so I was still working the long days. I just couldn't get around it, and I was still on my feet all day and running around and helping people and all this. So, ideally it would have been nice to take more rest time, but I was aware of it, and I was fueling all day with the clean glucose and mineral salts and all that. So I was aware of it, but I wasn't able to fully get the rest that I needed. But it's also a good thing to know that you don't have to have your perfect life figured out yet to heal. Like, you can just find what you can do to help your adrenals from going too overpowered. Obviously, I got rid of the caffeine because I was doing those 12 green teas a day, and that wasn't easy to do at the beginning. Yeah, but there's little things too that you can do, like even if you watch TV, just I used to. My husband and I, we could only agree on thrillers and stuff. So I decided I'm just going to cut out the thrillers, and if I watch TV, I'm just going to watch happy things, because that's even an adrenaline spike right there. Like, anytime you're kind of on your edge of your seat, your heart's racing, that's also adrenaline. So maybe there's just little things people can find in their life that, if it's not making you feel balanced and calm, it's probably spiking your adrenals in some way.
All right. So you mentioned your partner, and I know, partners can have different diets and different attitudes and different opinions and stuff. So how was your partner with you being on that sort of diet and eating out and eating together? How did that go?
Yeah, in the beginning, he was a little more skeptical of this, because at that point I had tried a lot of different things that didn't work, and he's like, "Oh, is this another one of those things?" But I got him to read the book, the Cleanse to Heal, and he was a believer after that, because that book is just mind-blowing. and so he jumped in with me on the morning cleanse and the smoothies all day, and he just started noticing a lot of health benefits. He's definitely wasn't as strict as I was, and he travels for work, so he found it really challenging to maintain the medical medium diet, or medical medium protocols, at least on the road. So he was definitely veering off more than I was, but he's really supportive. And when we're home, we're eating medical medium food together. So really, I couldn't ask for anything better there.
Yeah.
That's it'd be so challenging if he wasn't on board, for sure, because it takes a lot of extra prep, and it'd be tough to prep multiple dinners and all that.
Exactly,
kind of stuff.
It does, and it does take extra prep. It does take extra time, and sometimes when I'm doing it, I go off and on it, but I have to be more on it now because I'm in perimenopause.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, my body's needing a good clean.
Yeah. Your immune system needs it.
Clean window and extra support. And by the way, I'm not chowing down on loads of protein, and my bones are not crumbling. I'm still standing. It's just hilarious how all this perpetuates, isn't it? And it's just not true. But yeah, it does take extra prep and it is extra effort and it does require lifestyle changes. But I like, well, which is most inconvenient? Just a bit of extra prep or endometriosis or painful periods or all these perimenopause symptoms as well. They just go as well.
Yeah. So, well, and what I love about medical medium information is that it can be as complicated or as simple as you want to be. Like you can be perfectly healthy living on like potatoes and lettuce. You can do mono cleanse and you can heal. Or you can go as complex as making complex, beautiful dishes that would win awards in a restaurant. Like it just depends on how much time you have and what your preferences are.
Yeah.
Find that happy medium that you can sustain.
Well, I definitely won't be winning any restaurant awards with my steamed potato and steamed broccoli.
Yeah. Oh, that's so healing and great anyway. So.
Okay. Anything else you want to share with women or let women know before we come to a close?
I think just because I was so confused for so long, I'd like to just run down what is causing infertility, just to lay it all out there. So after reading all the medical medium books and studying them multiple times, I've basically narrowed it down to there's 4 root causes of infertility. So we have pathogens. So that's toxins like Epstein-Barr, strep, HHV6, and all this. And the thing about these pathogens, it's not just like, oh, you just have Epstein-Barr. No, there's over 60 varieties of Epstein-Barr. There's over 60 varieties of strep. So this is why it's manifesting in so many different ways in so many different people. So there's the pathogens. Then we got toxins and heavy metals, which you've touched on, but there's way more toxins and heavy metals in our environments now than there ever have been. So this is one major cause for the increase in infertility. And, chemical fragrance is a huge one that I think a lot of women can address. A lot of women are still wearing perfumes. You got to check what are you washing your clothes in. I've eliminated all chemical fragrance from my life, and I can tell now right away when someone is washing their clothes in Tide or all this because it's so strong. Where before I never noticed because I always had chemical fragrance around me, and it's even. You go to the washroom, in a public washroom, there's a chemical fragrance thing on the wall. It's everywhere. So that's just one example, but the toxins and heavy metals are everywhere now, and you can't avoid them. So that's the second one. The third one is low reproductive battery. So medical medium teaches us how the reproductive system has a soul of its own, and this is actually a good thing. Women are putting potentially a good thing for a lot of women, but we're putting off having kids generally till later, which means we're going a longer span of time, not active, like we're trying to avoid pregnancy for a longer span of time now. But that creates a disconnection between our brain and the soul of our uterus. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that you have to be aware of it so that you can rebuild that connection when you are ready to have kids. So I think there's a lot of women out there where it's just like they just need to rebuild that connection, and that's all that's missing. And that's especially, there's so many unexplained infertility cases where it's like everything looks normal, but like you're just not getting pregnant. Look at that connection. He talks about the meditations that you can do, where you imagine plugging in your reproductive battery at night. Just imagine like a cord of light going there. I did that every night. So yeah, look into those. And then the last one is the weakened adrenal connection that we talked about, and that's just the high adrenaline lifestyle that we're all on, even unknowingly, and that's contributing to the hormone imbalances and all this. And often in my case, I had all 4 of those root causes, and yeah, easily, yeah, and they all feed into the next one, right? Like the toxins feed the pathogens, and then the pathogens can help weaken your adrenals and so on. And this all creates low reproductive battery. So, I hope that helps women to see the big picture of what's going on with infertility, because it's so mysterious right now.
As are all of them. If you go to allopathic medicine or alternative medicine, they will just not know the root cause. And so it's always guessing. Mm-hmm. It's all, like you say, like you're always in the guinea pig loop of, we'll try this and see. And that is so debilitating.
Yeah. Oh, and often I go and I thought I was so health conscious at the time, and I would bring even like what I eat and everything. They'd be like, man, everything looks great. Okay, well, maybe we'll just like try you on astragalus or something. Like that one little pill is going to help me solve all my problems. and I'd be so hopeful. It's like, okay, maybe that's all this thing is.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing all your information. And I'm guessing that you work one-to-one with women now. So if anyone's listening to this struggling, they can come to you and you can help them.
Yeah, I actually don't work one-on-one yet, but I will be in the future. I'm building, in a month I'll have my complete fertility healing system e-bundle come out, where just describe exactly step-by-step how you can heal infertility and reproductive conditions using medical medium information. So that'll be my first project.
Okay, so people can't work with you one-to-one, but they can download some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can check me out on, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at the same handle at Get Fertile.
Okay, awesome. And I will link to all those medical medium books as well, particularly Cleanse to Heal. Which one would you read first if you were going to?
I would do Cleanse to Heal is a great first one. And then Life-Changing Foods is a really good one for infertility because it has a whole chapter on it in the back. Plus that book's just the new edition. Have you gotten it yet?
No, I'm in Thailand. So I literally just like a month before it came out, I thought, I need to get that book again. So I got the old one.
Oh, yes.
Now I need to get it sent over from England, the new one again. But yeah,
you gotta get it. It's so good.
Really?
So many extra protocols and extra recipes, and he's added a whole bunch more foods, and he's expanded the fertility chapter, and it's really well done.
Oh, brilliant. We'll have to get that. We just got wild blueberry juice in Thailand.
Oh,
so I'm just able to do that HMDS again, which is great. Oh, fab. Well, thank you so much. I'll put the link to your Instagram and it's your website where you can download some cleanse guides as well.
Yeah, there's a link on my Instagram to my Stan store.
Okay. All right. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anything you want to tell women else before we...
maybe just a couple last just actionable tips. Just to get women started if they've never heard of this information, just simple things. I was thinking, first, like if you're just starting out, start with the lemon water first thing. That's just huge for flushing your liver and getting going. And then the other one I always tell women is just try and make your diet 50% raw fruit if you can. Think of it different. It's not just a side garnish anymore. It's not just a little dessert. It's your mainstay. It's the thing that really heals the reproductive system. So I'll just leave you those two takeaway points because I think they're simple and easy to just implement right away.
Yeah. Okay. And you're right. There is a lot of fruit fear around and fear that we'll put weight on. And then that's with steamed potatoes as well. It's not the potatoes. Yeah. So totally. Eat fruit to make fruit is the old adage.
Exactly. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. It works. You're living proof.
It does.
All right then. So to everyone listening, I hope that was really useful for you. I know we've got huge attachments to what we eat and our diet, and there's lots of opinions around, but I'm really glad you came on, Michelle, and we can talk about this because this is just what works. Someone has healed and she's got pregnant. And that's all we need to know. I think really. And it does work. I've tested it myself as well. And it's the only thing that really feels like it genuinely works and is sustainable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. And I wish you a great day, Michelle. Thanks.
Thank you.